Alright, Bears, good morning, Bears. Today we're going to dive into this Sumerian civilization, ancient Sumerians. Very fun. First of all, let's check our groups. If you are not in groups where you have these little bears and you see all this stuff, you need to get this code right here and access groups. Alright, let's get going. Remember, all your assignments are in the groups. So this is a short week. So this is the beginning of civilizations. There's our first post of the week. This is where your concepts are. Everybody should have concepts. Here's the article for your evidence, for your CER that was due yesterday about, what did we do our CER? Oh, how geography impacts the development of civilizations. There's some video evidence for the video we had if you didn't finish it in class. And there's the Wednesday lesson. Today we're going to be learning about, we're going to watch a video and we're going to make a slide, and it's called a grapes slide. You're going to find one piece of evidence from this video for each one of the grapes acronym. The grapes stands for geography, religion, agriculture, or accomplishments. And another word for that could be technology. Accomplishments is like technology, but we have to make it an A, so we call it accomplishments. Politics, economics, and society. I'll write it for you here. Here we have geography, religion, accomplishments, which is also agriculture and technology, politics, economics, and society. First thing we're going to do right now, everybody do this, copy that, copy, go into your courses. We're in a history week. Go ahead and look at somebody's work right now. Check somebody in period 7 today. I think yesterday I used a period 6 student. In progress. Remember, if your slideshow is not open, you're way behind. If you do not have your CER like Jordan does, you are behind. If you don't have any of these, look at Jordan. Good job, Jordan. Jordan is on track. He's got his words, he has his pictures. He's started but not finished his impact on development, but he's on track, at least on track for a B. Probably have to catch up a little bit to get an A. So let's make a new slide. Click, click. Let's add in our copy and paste. Always makes me want to do that. And now this is Sumerian culture. So sometimes we call it culture, and culture includes all of this. Usually what they say a civilization has to have all of these things, these elements, to be identified as a civilization. So let's see, are the Sumerians a civilization? Let's watch the video now, and then as we watch it, let's see if we can find things. Geography. We know about geography. Anything you see in the video of the geography. Basically, it's Mesopotamia, land between two rivers, so you know some of that geography. Religion, we're going to try to identify, did they have a belief in one god or many gods? Accomplishments, pick anything you see. What kind of plants did they have? Did they farm? Did they domesticate animals? What kind of technology, weapons, swords, pottery? Did they use steel? Something interesting they invented. This would also be writing. Accomplishments is also for writing. So a little hint, cuneiform could be something you could put here. Politics, did they have kings? Did they have priests? Do they have chieftains? What are their politics? What kind of leadership structure? Economics, that's money, pretty easy. Do they have coins? Do they trade for things, or do they have money? And society can be social structure. That also is similar to politics, but do they have workers? Do they have slaves? Do they have a lower class? Do they have artisans? There's all kinds of a social class structure. Also, society would be how they dress. What kind of clothes do they wear? What kind of ceremonies that kind of ties into religion. So society kind of covers anything that's not covered there. All right, let's watch our video. You can fill this in as we go if you know how to do that. You can put the video in a smaller screen, and then you can have this open. So as we're going in the video, you can type in. Now remember, the video link will also be in our groups. All right, let's watch the video and fill this in.
Civilization in our video is brought to you by Captivating History. Most scholars around the world agree that the ancient Sumerians were the earliest developed civilization in our recorded history. They are the culture that gave us a lot of firsts. The first kingdom, and then empire. The first city-states, the first democracy, the first autocracy. They pioneered writing, schooling, organized religion, lawmaking, art, and literature. Yes, the Sumerians were the first in many areas of expertise. Who were the Sumerians? The Sumerians were a civilization that started circa 6500 BC and ended around 4100 BC. This civilization would go on to influence the entirety of the ancient Middle East, and their accomplishments and innovations echo in diverse ancient cultures such as Egypt, Greece, Rome, Ethiopia, and more. From a practical, mundane standpoint, they were a highly religious, agricultural society that put great emphasis on art, culture, and the written word. As is the case with all cultures, they developed from simpler hunter-gatherer societies based on the Bronze Age sites scattered about the area that comprised ancient Sumer. They were an innovative, inventive, imaginative people, and interestingly enough, had parallels with even modern-day societies in both positive and negative aspects of their daily lives. Where did the Sumerians live? The area where the earliest civilization lived took up the territory of southern Mesopotamia, in parts of modern Iraq and Kuwait. It is nestled between two important rivers for the region, the Tigris and the Euphrates, as well as the Persian Gulf to the southeast. Their earliest countries were numerous city-states that, depending on the time period, either dominated the region, were enslaved by other cities or even other peoples, or acted independently. Rule. From their earliest days, the Sumerian city-states actually enjoyed a level of democracy not unlike the one we have today in the Western world. Most major government positions were elected rather than hereditary, and a council made important decisions regarding critical state matters. It was only during increasing warfare between the city-states, as well as clashes with the barbaric tribes from both the east and the west of Sumer, that the need for a single ruler arose. And this was when the king, or Lugal, big man in Sumerian, would take control. An ancient Sumerian had a vast array of professions to choose from. We should differentiate between two groups. The first includes the Sumerian upper classes, and the second includes their plebes. Depending on how you were born or what you did during your life in Sumer, you could jump between these two groups. Jobs and professions. The high-class Sumerians, for the most part, were either priests, scribes, members of royalty, or minor noblemen. In terms of craftsmen, we find a wide array of professions. There were sculptors, jewelers, lapidaries, carpenters, smiths, leather workers, fullers, basket makers, builders, etc. Based on the works of ancient Sumerian scribes, these were not sought-after professions, and most children and their parents with high aspirations were encouraged to pursue academic or theological professions. Sumerian technology and inventions. Vast and diverse areas of technology, including transportation, tools, war, hunting, agriculture, and brewing, have their origins in ancient Sumer. The wheel, the pickaxe, and the different types of land and water vessels are only the tip of the iceberg. The cuneiform script is by far the earliest writing system, and it was so influential that it became widespread throughout the ancient Middle East, and was even in use until around the 1st century BC, a whole 5+ millennia after its invention. Mathematics was a major part of the Sumerian schooling system. They single-handedly birthed arithmetic and geometry, largely for practical uses like measurement and accountancy. I also need to mention the first use of the lunar solar calendar, later to be implemented in cultures both east and west of Mesopotamia. Sumerian foreign policy, relations with other nations. As is the case with modern-day nations, the Sumerians' relationship with their immediate neighbors was a complicated one. There was no shortage of bloody battles, coups, hostile takeovers, hostile liberations, submissions, and destructions. However, nearly all of these groups were influenced by the Sumerians in no small way. And considering how geographically distant they were from the prominent Sumerian city-states, that speaks volumes of just how influential the first civilization of the world really was. The religion and mythology of ancient Sumerians. Understanding this particular aspect of the ancient Sumerians is of vital importance to world culture in general. And no, this is not a statement made lightly. Most of what we see in the ancient myths of Sumer either directly or partially corresponds to numerous world myths. The hierarchy and behavior of gods, the creation of man, the Great Flood, the giants, the creation myths, all of these were present in Sumerian mythology first. The Sumerians envisioned the heavens as domes made of different precious stones. Whenever a Sumerian would die, according to mythology, they would go directly to Ker. An interesting concept that is almost unique to the Sumerians is that their underworld isn't necessarily the place of eternal darkness. As the sun sets and gives way to the moon on the surface, it would actually illuminate Ker, essentially bringing daylight to it. Within the realm of Ereshkigal, the dead would be judged by the sun god, Utu, and at times even his father, the moon god, Nana. Those judged righteous would go on to live in bliss for eternity. Those judged unfavorably would suffer for an eternity. There you have it. Sumerian civilization explained in 7 minutes.
That's pretty good. All right. That's a pretty good one. Let's get out of there. That was a pretty good one. Spelled out pretty clearly. The geography, like I said, we kind of know about the geography because the Sumerian culture was in Mesopotamia. So when you write geography, you can just scroll down here and get some of your tips from, let me see, let me think about something from Mesopotamian geography. You can look down in any of these areas and study something, especially if you have a picture like this one. The Tigris River, that the ancient Sumerians lived around there, so you can describe something you see in that picture and you'll have your geography. What about your religion? Well, did they talk about religion? What we want to focus on here on religion is, did they believe in one God, which is monotheism? That would be Christianity, Judaism, Islam, one God. If they believe in many gods, or even more than one, it's called polytheism. So on religion, I just want you to put, was it monotheism or polytheism? If you're listening to the video and you're talking about the different gods, you should have a clue. So put which one of those it is. Accomplishments, also pretty easy. They talked a lot about the different things. Cuneiform is their writing, the most ancient writing we know of. They invented the wheel, some people believe. They had boats. Anything you saw in agriculture or technology, you can write here. Politics. They talked about their social structure. Did they have kings? Did they just have leaders? Was it city-state governors? Do you remember what they said about that? And then economics. Did they talk about money? Did they exchange? Did they trade? And so you just have to write a little something from the video in money. And then society, you could talk about that social structure again. I think they talked about 2 different tiers. People in the upper tier, people in the lower tier. Did they mention slaves? Or something about the way they dressed? So right now, you can go back and rewatch that video if you need to and fill this in. Maybe some of you filled it out as we went and you're ready to go. Now when you're finished with this is today's work, let's get caught up. Some of you, like Jordan, he would be working on this to finish this. But first, do your top slide because that's the thing I check next. We can go back here and let's check somebody else. What about Nathan? I already checked his yesterday. His is doing great. He needs to work on that a little bit. Once again, get your top slide first. Xavier, let's just check random people. Looks like he needs to get going on yesterday's, and he has to do a lot of pictures. So let's get going. So you have a Mandy today, which is your top slide. That slide that will look like this. And come back and just pause this video right here. If you need help, you can pause the video right here. Pause it. I'll even make it present for a couple seconds. Pause this video, and you can go through and watch the video again if you need to, and just fill this out. This is not a CER. There's 1 or 2 words or a sentence next to each one of these, and you will be done. Sumerian culture, the grapes. All right, let's get to work. If you finish with that, you can do your other work and get caught up. Remember, tomorrow, big day Friday, catch up on things, get the slideshows done. A quick Zoom. I'm going to be on my phone, So, because I'm going to be traveling, I'm trying to get to help my daughters take care of their kids in Colorado. I'll be teaching from Colorado for a little while. So tomorrow I'll check with you on my phone. But if there's any Zoom issues tomorrow, any glitches, if you're on Zoom for more than 5 minutes and I'm not here, just go get your assignments done, turn them in. Everything is in groups as usual. And I will grade all your stuff over the weekend. It'll be awesome. And then Monday we'll hit the ground running with science. All right. So let's do this.